Hi guys, Inverted Moist Critical here to tell you about why I think Myers is a completely overrated killer, and one that you need to come to grips with the fact of why he's not good and why you think he's good. Because I think I've ID'd the reason that people think he's good and why that doesn't make him good as a whole. Before we get started, make sure you do the likey like if you want to support me and let me know that I'm doing a good job when I'm making these commentary videos. And if you want to stick around for more of them, because I do upload daily, make sure you subscribe so they actually show up on your YouTube homepage. So now let's get on with the video. So first off, I want to tackle the idea of like why people think Myers is so good. And honestly, Myers is a huge gateway to playing this game, just like most of the big IPs like Freddy and Pig. Myers is what got me into the game. I'm a huge Halloween fan. I love Halloween. I probably should have worn my Halloween shirt today, but I wore it yesterday. Yeah, I didn't really think about that. But I love Halloween a lot. It's my favorite horror franchise and some of my favorite movies of all time. Not even just in the horror realm, just good movies, period. So when I found out that Michael was in this game, that's what got me into this game. That's why I started playing this game. And then I was like, oh wow, this is great. This is amazing. And I think the reason that people love Myers and think Myers is high strength in this game is because Myers is what we call in the fighting game community a scrub killer. A scrub killer. A scrub killer is a character that is not very good, but is very good at exploiting bad habits by new players or inexperienced players. So what aspects of Myers make him a scrub killer? Well, he's a stealth killer. So he's got no tear radius for the first part of the match, even though he's slower. And his tear radius is consistently smaller than other killers. He has a shorter tear radius than other killers. So while survivors are still trying to learn how to react to a tear radius or what to do to a tear radius, suddenly his tear radius is shorter than everybody else's. So they ended up greeting things longer than they should, and that usually results in hits or down for Myers. Also, Myers is the easiest access insta-down killer in the game. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to worry about Bubba bumping into things. You don't have to worry about curving or doing like back revs and missing like you do with Hillbilly. You don't have to stalk people first. Well, you do, but you don't have to 99 people and do the crazy stuff you do with Ghostface. You just kind of like stare at people, and then once they're out of position, you just pop tier 3 and bop them. So you get a very powerful tool for basically no effort or skill on your part besides just holding one button while somebody's standing in front of you. Also, a new survivor will probably not know how gnarly a tier 3 lunge is because they're still getting used to how normal lunges work. They're still trying to understand how a normal lunge works, and suddenly you pop tier 3, your knife goes up, and suddenly you're hitting people from like super far away. Like they're still trying to figure out how to dodge normal lunges or when to drop or vault a pallet for a normal lunge. So then suddenly you mix up with them, and suddenly you have a really long lunge, like out of nowhere. And that's like really confusing for an inexperienced player. It's very confusing. I posted this on Twitter, and Yoshi made a really good point that even if like most of your team is experienced, if there's one or two players who are inexperienced, Myers can really take advantage of that. Because like if a good player knows not to stand in front of a Myers or to hide around walls around a Myers, if he's in tier 3, play a lot safer so you don't get clocked by a tier 3. Play a little bit more conservatively when you're near gens because his tear radius will not, show up till much later. But like if you just have one or two players that just don't really get that, like they're gonna feed him his stock and they're gonna fall for the short tear radius, especially if he has like Monitor Dead Rabbit. And they're gonna fall for the lunge tricks, and that's gonna snowball your team and make everybody else who isn't playing bad suddenly start playing bad or be out of position when usually they weren't out of position because they're trying to go save and help the players that are struggling, like we talked about in that previous video about focusing 2 players. But like the key thing here is these things that Myers does well only affect inexperienced players. Like if you're even a mid player, that's it, just a mid player, oh, he's in tier 3, I really can't greed this, I should really drop this early. Or, oh well, he has a shorter tear radius, so I need to like leave gens a little earlier and keep a better eye out than I would if I was playing against another character. Like even a mid-tier player understands how to play against the Myers. And that's when he starts shutting down. And I think the reason that people are like, wow, Myers is so strong, is because typically you're either in low MMR or you're in high MMR. The mid MMR is kind of just a transitional period where people either go up or leave, depending on how your games are going. But like Either you're in high MMR or you're in low MMR. And I suspect that, especially with the casuality of DBD, that a lot of people just play with their friends. So that's a big chunk of people who just hang out in low MMR. I think just a lot of people play Myers and they scrub kill. They destroy players that aren't very experienced, and they suddenly think that that reflects on Myers' skill and how powerful he is in general, which is just, that's not how this works. That's not how this works. Any character is strong if you don't know how to play Dead by Daylight, or if you have no inkling on how to play against a specific character. These are not traits to Michael Myers that make him particularly strong or better than any other character in the game. Any other character in the game. These things aren't unique to him, and they don't make him good, and that shows more and more as you go up in MMR, because once people know, like, oh, it's a Myers, I gotta do ABC, like, he falls apart. He doesn't really have anti-chase. He has to spend part of the game on lockdown, because he has to get out of tier 1 to be able to play the game, unless you're doing Scratch Mirror on Larry's. But even then, if they bring exhaustion perks, Scratch Mirror isn't effective either. The only thing you can even like offer is maybe like, well, if he brings a tombstone piece, it can insta-kill people, but then that's more of a gimmick, and it's very, very rare that even happens. Most people just end up hopping in lockers, and everybody D-pips. Like, there's nothing about this character that at high MMR he can like pull a trick, right? Like, if you're at high MMR and this character is playing against a good team who knows not to be out of position, who knows not to make a whole lot of mistakes, Myers can't do anything. Like, he doesn't have any way to circumvent pallets. He doesn't have any way to exert map pressure. He is just an M1 character that just sometimes insta-downs, sometimes. And he spends a third of the game on cooldown, basically unable to play the rest of the game. Whereas other characters, like Blight, just opens out of the gate and starts running. He can immediately be on the other side of the map. Sadako comes out, and once the TVs are on, can teleport to the other side of the map. Myers has to just kind of wander around as literally less than a normal killer. Most of his stats are worse than a normal killer when he's in tier 1. And he has to stare at people and basically be on timeout at the beginning of the match, waiting for other people to like do things so he can actually play the freaking video game. And you want to tell me that character's not bottom 3? Like, come on. Come on. I understand that your personal experience at low MMR has been players don't know how to react to him because he's weird. He vaults faster, his Terius is smaller, and he has an insta-down that he can pop without any effort. I can understand that that's kind of like hard for new players to deal with, but that does not mean he's a good character. It just doesn't, because anybody who even slightly knows how to play this game just swamps him, just rolls him. They absolutely rolls him. The reason I made this video today is because I was watching the odds update his tier list, and everybody's like, bro, why is Myers so low? You really think Myers is the worst character in the game? And I'm like, as somebody who mained Myers for a very, very long time and stopped playing him. I didn't stop playing him entirely, but I waned off him. I play like Huntress, Billy, and Sadako now. Yeah, he was really fun, and he was a scrub killer, and it was super fun to just pub stomp people who had no idea what was going on versus this character. But the moment people even had an inkling of what to do against Myers, he fell apart entirely. Like, you could even play Ghostface and have a much, much easier time than this. Ghostface is just a better Myers. Just play Ghostface if you want this playstyle, but it actually functions better. Even then, he's only like he's barely outside of the bottom 5. Ghostface ends up in this weird spot with like Sadako and Legion and Freddy, where like their powers work, but not enough to really matter. But like even then, like that's not even that good. Even the better version of Myers isn't that good. So people like throwing their hands up in the air and going, I can't believe Myers is bottom 3. Yeah, he's bottom 3. he doesn't have any way to, like, at least Trapper can like put a trap down and shut down a loop, or shut down an infinite. Man, that was helpful when the bottom doors were gone. Like, you just put down a trap and shut down a loop. You're just like, okay, I'm no longer dealing with that. Myers can't do that. When Trapper has something over you in Dead by Daylight, something's gone wrong. When Trapper's better than you in this game, something's gone wrong. Something has gone very wrong. Yeah, I just wanted to explain, as somebody who used to be a Myers main, and he's still my favorite character despite not playing him too much, that yes, he is bottom 3, and I understand that you had really good results with him when you were first playing the game, or when you play against inexperienced players, but that does not make him a good killer. It just does not. So that sucks, but that is the hard truth, and you need to accept it. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I really appreciate you spending time with me today, and I hope I see you in the next video. But if I don't, I'll see you when I see you, friends. Goodbye.